Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Now that my two obligatory informative videos are done for the day, let's talk about current events going on in the online fitness community. So let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, work on skilling up my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. Because a lot of people made a big deal this morning. A lot of AlphaDestiny's fans came in and they were defending him. They threw personal insults at me and everything, like saying I have no traps. All sorts of crazy stuff. They clearly haven't watched my training clips where you can see my traps from behind while I'm lifting. No need to defend that any further. But, you know, it was this idea that because I'm trying to help the guy out and give legitimate advice, because I'm really trying not to be a dick to the guy. I'm really trying to give him advice. Because, again, we don't have enough people on YouTube Fitness promoting full body training and heavy lifting. I don't want to see him get hurt. I don't want to see his followers get hurt, because if that happens, and it will happen, that's going to push people away from heavy lifting again. You're going to see people going back to more of this fluffy, wuffy, stupid crap that people do. And again, that's why this stuff needs to be addressed. I'm not trying to attack him personally. I'm not trying to cause him problems other than to say, hey, you need to stop what you're doing before you hurt yourself and before you hurt other people. And I'm not saying that because you're lifting heavy. I promote heavy lifting. There are people out there who say that because I promote lifting heavy that I'm going to hurt people. Because I promote beltless training that I'm going to hurt people. But that's not really based in reality. The difference is that he is doing stuff that is going to eventually hurt him. And I noticed some people said, hey, he just made a video earlier saying that he's got hurt doing good mornings. His back is hurting. He's having a lot of back pain. So I went and watched it and looked around, and he's got multiple other videos of major pains and injuries that he's had. And he looks like a young guy. This guy's down in his 20s. When you're in your 20s lifting, you shouldn't be having aches and pains. This is stuff I never experienced up until a few weeks before I tore my bicep when I was 27. I didn't have aches and pains from training at that age, as younger guys like that. This is a bad sign. This is a bad sign that he has too much going on. He needs to learn how to deload correctly. He needs to learn when to back down. He needs to learn to not do things that are going to hurt him. Because he would have wrist problems and everything else. It's like, guys, you've got to pay attention to this stuff. And that's his audience and him also. I'm trying to help the guy out here because I really don't want to see him get hurt. And I think at this point, watching what he's doing, it is going to be unavoidable. People are like, well, you haven't tried rack pulls. Yes, guys, I've done rack pulls. I said in the other video that I've done 100 pounds over my max with rack pulls. But what's being promoted here is not above the knee rack pulls. This is just doing the last few inches with a weight that's way heavier than you would do even on a rack pull. All right, a rack pull, you should be adding 100, 150 pounds over your deadlift. If it's above the knee means literally above the knee, like a ½ inch above the knee. It doesn't mean all the way up mid-thigh. It doesn't mean all the way up to your dick. And if the bar lifts less than 1 dick length off the pins, that is an insanely small range of motion. That's not a rack pull. That's just straight ego lifting. And again, people are getting so upset. They're like, how could you say he has small traps? Well, I didn't say he has small traps. I said he has the sort of traps I would expect from people running a regular strength training program. That's what I would expect. He's decently strong. He's got a good strength-based build. Guy deadlifts well over 500 pounds. He feels that his max is just above 6. Well, he's got about the traps that I would expect for someone in his strength range. If they're doing other work besides deadlifts, if they're doing a lot of rowing, overhead pressing, and he seems to overhead press and stuff. So that was my point, and people take that as an attack. It's not an attack. But the thing is, he's now claiming that his lower back is hurt from good mornings. And his explanation, I watched his whole video, is that he hasn't done anything different other than add good mornings, and he went into them too fast, so he's warning people not to go too fast into a new exercise. Why wouldn't you be able to go into a new exercise fast? If you have built a well-rounded strength base, you do a variety of big, heavy movements, and you have built your foundation, there is no reason at all you shouldn't be able to go into a new exercise and deal with fairly heavy weight fairly quickly, injury-free. All right, if you can deadlift over 500 pounds, yeah, you could be deadlifting you could be good morninging 350, 400 pounds for work sets pretty quick actually. very early on in a lift. Yeah, you would start a little lighter than that, but a couple workouts in, yeah, you should be able to work with very heavy weight. If you have built the strength base, the bone density, the muscle mass through other exercises, you should be able to go very heavy on a new exercise quickly. Most strength athletes understand this. That's not unusual. You don't get hurt by doing that. You get hurt if you're using bad technique. You get hurt if you're doing stupid stuff. But, I mean, I've done good mornings on camera heavier than what he's talking about doing. Back when I used to do good mornings, I didn't spend months building into those. I just switched over and started doing good mornings. Hadn't done them in years. Came over and just started doing them, dealing with over 400 pounds pretty quickly. It shouldn't be a problem if you've built up the support musculature. You know, same thing. If you've only been flat benching and overhead pressing, you should be able to go over to a steep incline bench and be lifting very heavy very quickly on it because your base is already built. It shouldn't be an issue. The only issue would be is if you have weak links muscularly that you're worried about ripping or tearing. But that wouldn't be the case if you have well-rounded training. You don't have those sort of weak links that should be a concern. So again, I don't buy his explanation. That doesn't make sense. And he's saying, well, you know, I've been doing this other stuff a long time and I've never been hurt doing it. That doesn't mean anything. You're not hurt until you are hurt. Okay? Just because you've done something 300 times that's high risk and nothing has never been injured doesn't mean that 301th time something isn't going to snap. And that's the point. That's not how the body works. Just because you've done something really dangerous quite a few times with no problems doesn't mean that it's not causing the problem. Because again, going fairly heavy on good mornings, if you don't have a weak lower back, you don't have a weak core, you don't have these problems, shouldn't injure you. It shouldn't injure you if you have the support musculature built. And he should have the support musculature built. So I don't buy that. I think it's the other stuff. And it's no coincidence that I make the video about the rack lockouts and then today he comes out talking about that. Because the video I saw with the rack lockouts was what? A week ago? That's what it shows in his feed about a week ago. Those rack lockouts, that ego lifting he's doing, that will damage your back eventually. What he's doing is going to damage his back. He's possibly going to crack a disc doing this. You could herniate a disc. There's no reason for him to be loading his spine with that much weight. And I'm not being one of these people who are saying you shouldn't lift heavy. I'm not saying that at all. There's a difference between lifting heavy on a normal exercise versus loading up a stupid amount of weight for an extreme partial repetition of some type and then loading your spine up like that. And he's not even putting his back in the best position to do that. All right? Watch what he does on the exercise. This is teaching bad things. He's going to get hurt and he's going to hurt people doing that. And I would urge him to go back to normal training, promote sound, smart training with big exercises. I have no trouble with the guy promoting full body. I have no trouble with the guy promoting concurrent periodization and concurrent training. There's nothing wrong with this. That's all good. That's great. But this exercise selection is really absurd. And this is a perfect example because, again, he honestly thinks that it's the good mornings that hurt him. Well, if you're strong enough to deadlift what you claim you deadlift, I haven't watched his normal deadlifting clips. I'm going to take his word for it. If he's strong enough to deadlift 600 pounds, there is no reason at all that correct technique on 400 pounds on a good morning should ever hurt his back. It should not injure him. It should not injure him if he's strong enough to lift it, if he has a support structure, the support musculature. What will injure him is the rack lockouts. And again, I don't think it's a coincidence that he did this extremely stupid demonstration of displaying strength, showing off, ego lifting. Remember, guys, I always tell people, you go to the gym to build strength, not to display strength. You display strength when it matters. You're in the gym to train, to build strength, to build yourself up. That's just showboating. It's ego lifting, and it doesn't do anything more than conventional training. What he's doing there is not going to build his upper back any faster than normal exercises will. You can only stimulate so much growth in any given set or any given workout. All right, you can't just suddenly do a new exercise that you think works a muscle a little harder and your gains suddenly double. You gain muscle at twice the rate. It doesn't work that way. If a muscle's getting good stimulation from a variety of exercises, it's going to grow nearly the maximum rate. At best, you're going to see something that increases it a little bit. And if you don't, if that's not what's going on, then you're not doing enough work for that muscle in general. So again, I don't buy into that either. There's no reason for him to be doing what he's doing there other than to show off, other than to try to build an audience, and I think that that's injured him. Give my honest opinion as someone in the iron game for decades, someone who's been around a lot of serious lifters, been around a lot of athletes. I think his back is hurt right now because of his rack pulls. It's not the good mornings. All right? And what I'm going to say to him, Alex, you need to quit doing stuff that's going to hurt you. Because I think that's what they said his name is. His name is Alex. Alex, you need to quit doing stuff that's going to hurt you. Again, we don't need the few guys on YouTube Fitness promoting heavy full body training to get injured, because that's going to push people away from it. You're going to do a disservice to the community if you get hurt. And you're on your way to doing it right now. If you haven't already. If you haven't already cracked a disc, you're on your way to doing it. And what I'm going to say to a lot of his fans who've come through and they said, you know what, F you, you're just being jealous, you're a hater, you're jealous of someone who's accomplished more than you. I'm not aware of what he's accomplished that's more than me. Are you guys mean his lifts? You mean on YouTube? You mean muscle? I'm bigger than him. As far as I know, he's not any stronger than I am and might be weaker. I have more subscribers. I get more YouTube views. I get more YouTube views every year than his total channel has ever gotten. So I'm not hating on someone who's achieving something more than me. I'm seeing a young guy coming up, and I'm trying to stop him from getting hurt. Because that's what I do. And you know what? When he gets hurt, or his audience gets hurt, when you guys get hurt, who are hating on me for what I'm saying, you can come back over here. You can come join and watch my channel. Because you know what? A big chunk of my subscriber base, if you read the comments, are guys who got hurt when they were lifting younger years ago, and they've tried to rebuild themselves, and they want to come back, and they want to get big, and they want to get strong, sometimes in their 30s, sometimes in their 40s, and they don't want to get hurt again. They want to get as strong as possible without getting hurt, without getting injured. And you know what? That's a big part of what I talk about here. So when this happens, you guys come over, because it's going to happen, because if he's not interested in quitting what he's doing, he's going to get hurt. When he does, you guys come over here and I'm going to help you out. And I'm hoping that this is a wake-up call for him, and he's going to take some of what I'm saying to heart. He's going to listen. He's going to learn. He's going to improve himself, and he's going to improve his channel. And if he doesn't, then he's just another dumbass that I'm going to make fun of later. I mean, it's his choice. Alex, it's your choice. You can have it either way. You can either listen to my advice, you can improve yourself, improve your audience, and not get injured and keep getting better at what you do and excel, or you can really snap your shit up. You can get hurt, and then you can be someone that I make fun of, just like these other guys, these other clowns who give bad advice. The choice is yours, man. The choice is yours. The ball is in your court. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.